Now, let me explain why this story captured me so much, right? So, in South Africa, the K word stands for kefir. And kefir is an offensive derogatory term used against black people here in South Africa to verbally, racially oppress and divide them from the rest of the community during apartheid. Now, the K word is very similar to the N word in America, where the N word is a derogatory term used against black people to verbally, racially oppress and divide them from the community during slavery, Jim Crow, and still to this present day. Now, what's so fascinating to me about this story is the fact that it even made the news. The fact that this story made the news is a testament to how intolerant black South Africans are against racial oppression of any sort, whether physical, verbal, or anything. Now, I was talking to a brother my first week here who was explaining to me the significance of the K word, and he was telling me various stories of people who have been accused of using it against a black person and how there were consequences from them losing their businesses to being kicked out of the country, right? And I found that so fascinating, and I was explaining to him how in America, a white person can call a black person the N-word and there is no consequence, right? And I was like, maybe it's freedom of speech. And he said, no. He said it has nothing to do with freedom of speech. That's not why white people get away with disrespecting you. He said what it is black people in America call other black people the N-word. He said, why do you do that? He said, I would never look at my brother and call my brother the K word. I don't care if you change the ending. He said, I don't care if we use an IR, ER, A, or whatever. The root of the word is still the same. The definition still means the same. The root of where the word comes from is still the same. It does not matter about the ending when the roots are the same. As we know, the N-word debate has been a debate that's been going on in America for years, for decades before us. And my grandfather, who was born in 1933 in Augusta, Georgia, shout out to the 706, he absolutely hates when black people use the N-word. Now, the thing for me is I've always been on the fence. Why? Because I understand both sides. I understand what the elders are saying, and I also understand what the younger generation is saying when they say, like, well, we use the A and we change the definition. But after talking to this brother here in South Africa, my mind has been changed, and from this point forward I will hold myself accountable to stop using the N-word. Why? Because one thing I've learned about South Africa is that they do not tolerate racial discrimination against black people. So I'm watching how they move and I'm seeing what they're doing that's different from what we're doing. And for him to be able to call black Americans out and say, you guys disrespect each other. We don't do that. We don't do that. You guys disrespect each other. Like, I would never disrespect my brother. It forces me to hold myself accountable for how I treat my brothers and sisters. It forces me to hold myself accountable for how I speak about them, how I speak of them, how I speak to them, right? So that's what I'll be doing from this point forward. I'll be holding myself accountable to not verbally oppress my brothers and sisters at all with any word that was once and still is used as a derogatory term to verbally oppress them. Okay? I'm holding myself accountable. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying for me, I'm going to hold myself accountable. But tell me what you guys think about it. DM me. We'll talk about it in the comments. What do you guys think about black people using the N-word, whether it's the A, the ER, whatever? How do you feel about the N-word being used in America? And how do you think us using the N-word affects our ability to hold other people accountable when they use it against us? Keep in mind, here in South Africa, there are consequences when a black person is called the K word. They do not use the K word against each other. In fact, I've heard young South Africans calling each other the N word. The N-word. They don't use the K-word against each other. They call each other the N-word out of love and brotherhood, the same way we claim we use it. So just take all of that into account. Think about that and tell me how you guys feel. I'm open for discussion. Peace and light.